My name is Rokhaya Marieme Balde. I'm 26. My film is À la recherche d'Aline, or Seeking Aline in English. I just graduated from HED, which is what they call d'art et de design de Genève. My film, it's about Aline Sitirijata, which is an anti-colonialist heroine. My father talked to me my entire childhood about her, so the film is me going back to her village and trying to find her. Growing up, I heard a lot about this woman, and my father had put like a photo of her in her living room. And I remember when I was 8, I asked him who is this woman and why is her photo in her living room was a plaque that said "Hero of Senegal, birth in 1920 and death in 1940." Was a short-lived hero. And he told me the story of Aline Sitoé, and told me she had power, she could bring rain. You know, I remember as an 8-year-old be like, oh my God, wow, that sounds so crazy. The village is my grandmother's village. She's from there. And when I got the idea first, I had never been in that village. Well, once when I was like 14. And it was just visiting. And when I got the idea the year before starting my last year of college, I went back there and spent the summer there. So I was my uncle who still lives there. And we went like fishing and did a bunch of stuff. And I did a repérage, and I went to see the king, the people in the village. I told them I want to come back next year and make a film about Aline Sitoé. And they were like, oh, really? And then they liked the idea. I met a lot of people, spent a lot of time, because I feel like before writing the story, I had to know about how the villager like interacts with themselves, how's the social structure, how are women interacting, because the story of Aline that I knew so far was a fantasy of mine in a way, and I needed to confront it with the reality of that village. Because even if the original idea was just a fiction, there was not this meta cinema thing all about it. I wanted to write a fiction du réel in a way. So that month I recorded a bunch of sound, a bunch of interview, went to see some historians to ask them, do you think she could bring rain? And so I went back to school in Geneva and I started writing firstly my draft of fiction, which kind of, I wrote a film too expensive, too impossible to do, too hard. Like, that film just couldn't be done. And so 3 days before giving back my final dossier, I was just in my room and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna film the 4 scenes I like, the 4 fiction scenes I like, and I'll make a film anyway. And my repérage, the chronology of my repérage that I had did the summer before became the fiction scene, the basis for the documentary scene I need. I had met Bruno, which is the guru you see, the year before, which was considered as a crazy person. And when I came back to shoot my film, he was a guru. So I don't know how that happened, but in 6 months, he went from crazy to super important local figure. So I was like, wow. I'm going back on the 8th of September back to Senegal to show them the film. I want to see themselves like on the screen, especially Jola and Jola Cabos, which is always spoken in that village, and to see how I see them because even in Senegal, Casamance is like the forgotten region. I see them because even in Senegal, Casamance is like the forgotten region. They're not heard by the government, by the people. And so for once to have their story in this, I don't know, great light, kind of like the Wolof people, the dominant like ethnic group in Senegal, have depicted their kings and queen and be like, answer to each other, is that cool? It's dumb. It's like, your history is valid. My film school is in Switzerland, so it's quite privileged. So that's very good. We don't have any restriction on, which is even specific for Switzerland because other school like the one in Lausanne or the one in Zurich, you have, because they have more expensive equipment, you have shooting days limit and not location limit, shooting days limit, I think. But my school, it was very on this based on the cinéma de réel, so a lot of people used to documentary, so we still have the heritage of that. So I had no location limit, no shooting day limit. I was able to have the equipment for over a month to go to Senegal with it, and the support, and so it was a very great experience. When I told them I wanted to make this film so far away, they did not shy away from it, and they pushed me to go back often. They're like, you have to write there, the story has to come from there. That's a hard question. I would say that as a child, I was a lover's story. It allowed me to escape. And cinema for me was the most formidable way to escape because it allows suspension of disbelief, but also suspension of self in time and space, which is magic in a way. So I guess for me, cinema is not only a way to connect deeper with other people, because you can experience their life, their struggle, their pain, but also a way of escaping life, well, your life. So it's both magical and escapism and deeply important for the human experience of connecting with others, especially in the digital world. So cinema for me is like, I don't know, a helping hand. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll say that.